All right, let's forget everything you think you know about Confucius. Forget the dusty scrolls, forget the rigid rules. Today, we're going to do something different. We are stepping back 2,500 years, right into the middle of his classroom. And we're going to see his philosophy come to life, not through commandments, but through the real, messy, and totally fascinating conversations he had with his students every single day.
So let's just start with a fundamental question, one that gets right to the heart of all this. It's a question Confucius never really answered with a dry definition. Instead, he answered it with his actions, with his quick wit, and with this incredible ability to understand the person standing right in front of him.
And here we go, our first scene. Confucius says something super dramatic, almost kind of whimsical, right? He's basically saying, if this all fails, I'm just going to give up and sail away. But then he singles out one student, Zilu. And you have to see Zilu's reaction. He is just thrilled. This isn't some boring lecture. It's personal, it's emotional, and it totally sets the stage for what comes next.
So, let's meet this guy, our first case study, Zilu. He is the classic man of action. He's brave, he's impulsive, he's fiercely loyal. And yeah, he's the first guy ready to jump on that raft with his teacher, no questions asked.
But check out Confucius's follow-up here. It's this quiet, incredibly insightful little comment. He sees that courage, he sees that loyalty, and he loves it. But he also sees that it's raw, it's untamed. It's like he's saying, "Kid, I love your spirit, but my job is to give it some shape, to temper that courage with a little bit of wisdom." See, he's teaching the person, not just the subject.
And this is so interesting. You see a pattern here. Some big-shot nobleman asks Confucius if his best students, Zilu included, have achieved Ren, which is like the ultimate virtue of being a good human. And for each one, Confucius is like, oh yeah, they're amazing. This guy can run an army, that one can govern a city, this other one is a brilliant diplomat. He praises their real-world skills. But on that core question of virtue, his answer every time is a very cautious, I do not know. He's setting the bar impossibly high.
Okay, next up, a student who is basically the polar opposite of our impulsive friend Zilu. This is Zigong. He's eloquent, he's brilliant, he's successful, a respected figure all over the place. He's that star pupil you'd think has all the answers figured out.
Now, at first glance, this sounds like a huge compliment, right? A precious ceremonial vessel was this beautiful, valuable thing used in the most important rituals. So Confucius is saying Zigong is incredibly talented and useful. But there's a little twist. A vessel, no matter how precious, is still just a tool. It has a function. Confucius is subtly hinting that a truly great person has to be more than just a finely crafted instrument.
Now listen to this. Zigong comes out with what sounds like the perfect summary of everything Confucius teaches. It's basically the golden rule. It's clean, it's profound, it's exactly what you'd expect the A+ student to say. You'd think, wow, he totally gets it.
And boom, this moment right here shows you the genius of Confucius as a teacher. The reply is instant, it's direct, and it's got to be a little deflating for poor Zigong. Notice he calls him by his personal name, Si, which makes it really intimate, and he just tells him straight up, you're not there yet. He's forcing him to go beyond just saying the right words to the much, much harder task of actually living them.
So you've got to be wondering, if the brave guy Zilu and the brilliant guy Zigong haven't gotten there yet, what in the world is this Ren, this ultimate virtue? Clearly, it's way more than just courage, and it's more than just being smart. So at its core, Ren is about being a fully realized, complete human being. But here's the thing. Confucius hardly ever defined it with a simple sentence. Instead, he was a master of showing his students what it wasn't, using people around them as real-life examples of what not to do.
I mean, listen to these takedowns. They're so sharp. The student who sleeps in, rotten wood. A guy everyone praises for being firm, Confucius cuts right through it. He's full of desires. And this other guy, famous for being upright, who begs for vinegar from a neighbor just to give it to someone else, Confucius basically scoffs at the performance. So, we're learning that Ren requires real discipline, self-control, and most of all, authenticity. You have to actually be good, not just look the part.
All right, so after all this pushing and prodding, all this challenging of his students to be better, what about the man himself? What was Confucius's own personal goal? What was he aiming for?
This is such a fascinating comment, and it comes from his own student, Zigong. He's saying, look, we all get what our teacher says about culture and history and ethics, but the really big abstract stuff like metaphysics or the nature of heaven, Confucius just didn't go there much. His focus was always on the here and now,
on how to live a better life as a person among other people.
So the story goes that one day, after his students are all sharing their big ambitions, to run a state or become famous, they turn the tables. They ask him, "Teacher, what about you? What is your wish?"
And his answer? Wow, it's just breathtakingly simple and beautiful. No talk of power, no grand legacy, no changing the world in some abstract sense. His ultimate ambition was all about human connection, to bring peace to the elderly, to be true to his friends, and to care for the young. That's it. That was his way. The entire complex philosophy, all those tough lessons, it all just boils down to this deeply compassionate and humane idea.
And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? Confucius wasn't just teaching a subject called ethics. He was teaching Zilu how to be a better Zilu, and Zigong how to be a better Zigong. He fit the lesson to the person. So the thought I want to leave you with is this. Whether you're a manager, a parent, a friend, whatever, how can we apply that? How can we focus less on just getting information across and more on truly seeing and shaping the unique potential of the person right there in front of us?